And to an issue I discussed last night, a most appalling abuse of state power. The West Australian Labor government trashing the rule of law to steal potentially billions of dollars and to steal it from Clive Palmer. Well, Clive Palmer wanted to build a mine in Western Australia. The previous Liberal government stopped him. He sued. He was in legally binding arbitration with the government now, and it looked, in fact, like it was going to win. So what did the West Australian McGowan government do? In a panic, it is passing a law that now kills Palmer's case to stop him from winning and from appealing to the courts. And it's doing this not because it has the right on its side. It simply says, oh, well, we can't afford the payout. So there you go. Joining me is Clive Palmer. Clive Palmer, thank you so much for your time. Can you tell me, why was your planned mine stopped in the first place?
Well, it's a very good question, because we would have provided 10,000 jobs to Western Australia, about 60,000 jobs for Australia in construction, and at least another $5 billion of exports. It was probably stopped because someone didn't like me. We had all the finance, we had all the people, and it was very disappointing. It was disappointing for a publicly listed company, Australasian Resources. It had 5,000 mum and dad shareholders that lost all their money. And there's a lot of other things that have gone on, Andrew, that we can't tell you about, but the current law that they've put forward to the West Australian Parliament exempts the Premier, the Attorney General from the criminal law. So in other words, this bill says if you've committed a crime, you're free. If you want to go and commit a crime, if you want to shoot me, if you want to rob someplace or murder someone, that's okay. You're exempt from the criminal law. It also says that there's no FOI that applies, no freedom from information. So if you want to know what all this is about, if the press like you want to tell the people the right to know, they can't access it through FOI. It goes a bit further and says that Clive Palmer and anyone that's on the other side has got no right of natural justice, no right of proper process, no right to go to a court. And then it says at the end of the day, if it all goes wrong and the government has to pay out any money, I've got to indemnify it personally, and I've got to pay the money, even though they're wrong. So this is not about money. This is not about money. This is about our rights in our country. You know, if the government...
No, I got that. The principle of the law, I think, is a shocker. Why would any investor go to West Australia, have any contretemps with the government, knowing the government could simply change the law and say, even if we've acted wrong, tough, we're not going to pay you a cent. Can you just tell me, though, about the money? How much do you think you've lost?
Well, it's not just me, it's other people. I'm not a person or a party to the arbitration. A number of companies are. Some of them are mine. But I think, we don't know. We're in the process of assessing the damages. We won the case. We got the two first awards, which have now been registered today in the Queensland Supreme Court. We got those awards saying the government was wrong. The next step was to assess what the damages were. We're in that process. 7 days ago, we signed a mediation agreement with the state, with Wayne Martin, the former Chief Justice of Western Australia, and we thought we were going to mediate, have a discussion, try to work it out for the best of the people of Western Australia and the stakeholders, not have to go to arbitration and put the state to the torch. And they came out with this legislation where they thought they could pay us nothing. And it's very suspicious to have politicians, and I've been a politician, enact a law that says I'm exempt from the criminal law. The question says, what crime did you commit? What crime did you commit, right? Who did you kill? What did you do? So this is a law we've got in Australia saying that whatever crime I've committed now or whatever crime I'll commit in the future, I'm exempt. But why? Because I'm the Premier of Western Australia, a close friend of the President of China, no doubt. And of course, how would we be in this country? We'd be no different than China. All that protects us is the rule of law. If the Parliament or the government can say, this is how you find it, regardless of the facts, regardless of who's wrong, this is what you do, we'd end up with 3 million people in concentration camps, like they've got in China, 500,000 citizens that have been killed every year because they've got a right to have a different opinion. I know you and I haven't agreed on things, but I certainly wouldn't want to be exempt from the criminal law. We have disagreed
bitterly on a lot of things, but I have to say, on this one, I am right with you. But Clive, do you have any sympathy with the West Australian government's argument? And they've been as bald-faced as this. They say, well, look, the risk is we're going to have to pay Clive Palmer $30 billion. We do that, the state goes belly up. We can't do it, so he's not getting it.
Well, he says we're not getting $1. I've got no sympathy with that argument. But, justice and mercy go together. And what we should have been doing is having a discussion and working out something which would have protected the people of Western Australia, but would have made it clear to the politicians that they can't break the law, they can't commit crimes and be immune for it. I, like everyone else, has to be subject to the criminal law. That's what we should have done. But they don't want to talk. In 8 years, they haven't had a discussion with us. They've refused mediation. They got the Chief Justice, as I said, of Western Australia to be involved in the mediation. They requested it. We agreed to it. And then they brought this legislation in. And we've got two awards by the former High Court Judge, Michael McHugh, who's ordered them that they're wrong for the liabilities with the state. And I think what the problem was the evidence was too good of what they had done. And I think ultimately they are covering up something. Because why would you want to be exempt from the criminal code if you hadn't committed a crime?
Well, it's particularly, the FOI thing, not allowing people access to freedom of information to see what's going on. I mean, I think that's really dodgy.
It gets better than that. It gets better than that, Andrew. You're not allowed to bring a court case about these matters, get pre-action discovery or discovery about anything. It's abolished by the law. Of course, it's unconstitutional.
Well, Clive, you must have made some enemies there along the way, but I find this amazing. Clive Palmer, I'll keep in touch and see where this is going. This can't stand. But thank you so much for your time.
God bless Australia and you, Andrew.
Good on you, mate. I'm glad we're friends again.
Thanks.
Good on you.